Hi everyone, welcome to the next chapter of our Flutter development course. So today basically we are going to look into a very crucial aspect of Flutter development, which is organizing your code, like how we can organize our code into separate files. So this will basically help you to keep your project clean or your application clean, readable, and also it will be easier for you to maintain. So if you have worked, like when you're working with Flutter or any programming language, it is considered a good practice to split your code into multiple files. So this will basically keep each file readable and easier to maintain, making your project very easier to navigate. So before we dive deeper into today's course, like today's chapter, if you haven't watched the previous chapter, I will highly recommend you to check it out first. It covers basically the important concepts of widget, how we can create a custom widget. You can obviously find the link to the previous chapter in the description below, or you can click the card on the screen. So let's get started. So first of all, let's see what we have done in our previous chapter. So let's open our app. So basically this is the app which we have created in our previous chapter. Basically we have added a custom widget, and in that custom widget we have tried to add a gradient as a background color. So let us just run the application and see how it looks. So this was the app which we created, like this was the progress of the app in the previous chapter. So basically there is a text widget in the center of the screen and a gradient color at the background. So we have used box decoration, linear gradient and other constructor function, which you can look into the previous chapter and follow accordingly. So now let's suppose, like let's say we have a class here like gradient container, and we have to move it to a different file, or let's see how we can do it. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to select the entire class first. We have to just copy it. Now let's do one thing. Let's like in a lib folder, let's create a new file which we will call it as example. What was the name of our class? So gradient color dot. So you also, like while naming your files, you have to follow this pattern. Like it should be all in lowercase letters with words separated with underscore. For example, here gradient color dot. So it should be separated by a dash instead of instead of dash, it should be underscore, because Flutter recommends snake keys. So this is the naming convention which we will be following throughout our course. So let's create this file and let's just copy paste what we have copied from our previous file. So basically now the question comes like, why do we need to split code into multiple files? So basically we will be splitting our code into multiple files just to keep each file clean and focused on only one thing. For instance, a file might contain one main class and a group of related function for a single main function. So this organization will basically keep the code base clean, and it will be very easier for you to manage. So now after moving the class, like after moving it to a separate file, you might see there are a lot of errors in it. So how we can fix it? Basically when we add the class here, like what we have copied from the previous file and we have copied into a new file, but we can see a lot of errors here. This is because it's missing the imports. So in this particular file we had an import, so there were no errors here. So what we will do is we will just copy this and paste the import here. So you can see that all the errors are now gone. So now if we want to use this particular class in our main.dart file, what we can do is we can use, like we have to first import our new file, which will be package, whatever the project name, if it is so this is how we will be importing the file. Now let's save it and see if our app is running all right. Okay, so if our app is running all right, then we have done everything properly. That means we have organized our code perfectly. So you can see there are two files now. One is gradient color and one is main.dart. In our main.dart, we have imported the gradient color class and we have used it. And we have a separate class called gradient color here. So in the later part of the courses, I will be explaining you, like, obviously main.dart, you won't be keeping it as main.dart. You will be having separate screens. For example, if you have a login screen, then you will be creating a folder called login, where we will be having separate files such as login screen .dart and login controller.dart, and there will be a binding file as well which will bind the controller with the screen. So I will be explaining all those in the later part of the courses, but right now let's focus on how we can create how we can create a custom widget and keep it in a separate class or a separate file. So now if we look into our gradient color, we can see now we can further go and create other widgets as well. Like if you want to split the code further, like you can see a text widget here. So basically what we can do is we can create a style text and we can split the code further. So let me try to do one thing. Let me just create a new file and let me rename it, name it as style text.dart. So basically what I will do here is I will first import the package, or else nothing will be detected. So let me import this file here, import Flutter. Now let's create a new style text. So for now we are only going with stateless widget. Later on I will be explaining like what are stateless and what are stateful widgets. So for that you need to understand the concept of state, which I will be also explaining. So let me just create the constructor function as well, so that it doesn't give any error. So let me create the constructor function, which I have done. Now let me override it. Context. Now what we can do is return, or we can just copy the text from here on the center widget and let's paste it here. Okay, so now if we want to use this in our new gradient color file, what we have to do is we have to first import the file that we have created, which is in our case first app style text.dart. Okay, so now instead of this whole thing, what I can do is I can just replace it with the style text that we have created. So let me just get rid of this, and in the child let me just use style text. So this will be it. Okay, so it is asking for me to use the const keyword. So here it is. So we have created another custom widget, which is style text, which is just basically the hello world text with some few decoration of style or some styles for text, and we have added it in our gradient color. And basically this gradient color is also a class or a separate custom widget which we have used in our main.file. So this is how we will be going through, like this is how we are going to split the code into various classes. Like once the code becomes more complex, I will be explaining you how we can split the code further. But for now, it is a good thing. Like for now, it should be good. Now basically it's your turn. You can pause the video and try to create new other widgets from here, from different parts of the app, and once you are done you can come back and see whether you have done it correctly or not. So that will be for it today. We have successfully organized our code. We have created separate files for it by creating custom widgets, and we have made sure that the project looks a bit more cleaner and easier to manage. So that will be for today's chapter. So basically, see you in the next chapter.